Come on. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop, don't talk.
Wow.
Wow, wow.
Wow, wow.
Wow, wow. This song we get one more time.
You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. The fuck is this?
And you know, we got the little intro video now, too. Yeah. It's funny because while the intro's playing, this is all going to be on.
You said why is this so funny?
While it's playing, this is going to be all over.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the sound bite on it. Because I'm telling you, this intro is getting longer and longer every episode. I'm like, geez.
Hey, what it do, cousins? It's your boy, Benny Hunnits. I'm with my brother. The funk is real, as always. Welcome to the village. This is episode 21. I've been doing a terrible job, by the way, of saying what episode it is every time. So this is episode 21. We are in June 17th, right? About to be Juneteenth. And so
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. We've got a lot to talk about. A whole lot. Since the last time we spoke, there's been quite a bit that's been going on. First of all, congratulations. You don't have...
Oh, yeah, I'm Rona free. Yeah. So,
I just thought about it. Just hit me just
random.
now.
Yeah, well, I'll go real quick on this one. Yeah, man. There's an individual running around here. We call him Patient X. Right. Right. Out here infecting everybody. Jolly drunk ass running around just breathing in people's necks and ears, infected everybody. So
That shit's not okay.
you know, through third connections, we were just nervous, got tested. They shoved it up my nose. Pause.
I heard that shit hurts. Like, it's like weird. At
It
least.
tickled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Tickles.
was
Okay.
grown man giggling.
Oh, shit.
Oh, another nostril. And yeah, negative.
Good.
About 15 minutes. Negative.
Good, because we was worried.
Yeah.
We was worried.
That's for those wondering why we're here.
Yeah.
New location.
New location. But I
Back to
like
the
it.
studio.
I like it. We're back in the lab. We were you've been exiled. You have been exiled from our home studio
For a week.
to go quarantine elsewhere. So this is where we at now. But I'm actually really glad because I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous.
Who you telling? I'm nervous, man. We ain't even see him, and I was nervous, dog.
Yeah.
That's-
So at first I thought you was in the same vicinity as Patient X. I ain't gonna say his name. So you know, I ain't gonna say his name. But I thought you was in the same vicinity. I thought he was at the protest or whatever. But then now that you tell me you were
no contact.
2-3 people Rotary. Oh
Had
shit.
no contact with him.
That's your new name.
They gonna
dog.
see this, be like, "Damn, why y'all do me like that, man? No, man, why you do everybody else like that?"
Exactly.
Dog?
Congratulations, you played yourself. you know?
Play yourself.
But yeah,
Shit.
man. So speaking of public health, public health. Yeah, right. So in many cities and counties around the country are finally declaring racism as a public health emergency. Seems a bit late, but better late than never, you know.
I don't even. When I first seen it, I was confusion. I was like, "What? It's a public? Like, did we just discover racism today?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think there's just like, I'm willing to accept any level of people waking up at this point, right?
Yeah.
So if it comes in by something being said that is late, but hey, I'll take it. Like, at least you're understanding there's something terribly wrong going on, and it actually affects the health of in my opinion, of course it affects the health of black people the most, but it affects the health of the country because there are ripple effects that happen to society because of it. But of course, you know, the main
I'm interested in
who are
seeing
hurt
how
are us.
it's going to be handled, since racism is more of a learned and taught thing. Whether so how do you implement? Because essentially, like these, I guess when you announce that there's a public health crisis, right, from a county, basically they have to adopt policies, right, that are going to be measurable, that they'll be able to implement and put in black and brown residents and see if it is going to effectively change. So I'm really curious in seeing what that
Yeah, what that is.
consist of.
That's actually, I'm really glad you pointed that out, because you can't just say it and walk away, right? Once you put it in writing from the government or municipality perspective, and in New York, it's from the state perspective, you have to actually perform an action that says you're trying to alleviate this issue, right? So it is, that's why I say, honestly, it's stuff like that, in my opinion, that is, I'm grateful for things like that. You know, I'm grateful for things being noticed, even though we look at it like, yeah, no shit. It's like, we have to accept the fact that we are so far behind as a country in recognizing this issue for what it really is, that there are going to be steps that seem like yeah, no shit, but they are the first steps to hopefully many steps that get us where we need to go. So I'm willing to take it. That being said, though, unfortunately, in a city where we would think, you know, black people are and their issues are most notably, people are most aware of it, Atlanta, we had Mr. Rayshard Brooks. Actually, I think.
Well, before we even get into him,
Yeah, we should.
kind of touching back on that racism, it's interesting that it comes in a time like this, especially considering, for instance, for people who might have not heard, there's been several black men who have been found hung in California, in Victorville and Palmdale, and then you had two more in Houston. I guess they reported one of the guys in Houston was actually a Latino male, and then the most recent one was a teenager.
Right.
And then there was another gentleman in Upper Manhattan, New York, by the name of Dominique Alexander, who was 27. The gentleman in Palmdale was Robert Fuller, who was 24, and Malcolm Harsh, who's 38, was in Victorville, California. So rest in peace to those gentlemen. So they're saying that they're being ruled as suicides. They said there was no foul play according to the investigation. Again,
these are the ones in California?
These are actually all of them.
Well, the one in Houston, I remember somebody being on the scene and saying that you could see a track of wheels driving up to the site and obviously leaving. So
again, I don't believe it's suicide. I don't understand.
I don't know any details about any of the rest of them, but that detail
on a rope, on a noose.
Yeah,
especially in California,
Public
ain't no brothers
spaces.
running around with ropes and then just hanging themselves off a tree. Yeah. I ain't never heard in my life a nigga kill himself with a noose in a tree.
Facts.
Never in my life.
Facts.
If somebody gonna commit suicide, I guarantee you he ain't hanging himself from a tree. That's black.
Yeah, I feel you. That it makes zero sense. Yeah, facts. And we would have thought that many things have changed over time since, you know, like we said, we'll be celebrating Juneteeth here in the next couple days. And many companies are looking to, you know, I guess, be aware within themselves and giving people off days and stuff like that.
Happy Juneteenth, guys.
Don't come to work, as if niggas was finna go to work and do shit anyway that day.
Bruh.
I just thought about it, like, I ain't even heard a lick. So, damn.
Oh, from your company.
Okay, so my company pledged $500,000 to HBCUs. So that's what they did, and I don't even know if they didn't even go public with it. They just told us, like, hey, we're cutting a check. Like, we believe in educating black people. We go and hire people from a bunch of these HBCUs. So we're gonna go give HBCUs $500,000.
I'm curious on how that works since there's a lot of HBCUs.
Yeah, so I don't know which ones they're gonna give it to or how it's gonna go, but that was the dollar figure and that was the pledge. And so, I mean, in a way, at least I can see, like, I can't know tangibly where it's going, but you say HBCUs, I know where it's going, versus like these scandals we're getting, or these conspiracy theories that we're hearing now, which is, you know, all these millions and millions of dollars, because there's a lot of money being donated right now. And we have no idea where this shit's going.
I think that's the biggest question now.
Mm-hmm.
And with donations, you never know. And it's interesting because, you know, there's one thing I always like to kind of always be curious, or not curious. I mean, be aware of is anything I'm looking at on the internet or seeing on my timeline on social media that I always question it.
Yeah.
Regardless, right? Because you never know where it's coming from, regardless if it has thousands of retweets and likes. A lot of people are just quick to just hit the button just off of face value when they first look at them. Usually people don't click in any deeper. There was even people coming out with saying that the Black Lives Matters money is going straight to Democratic Party. And I seen a video where the guy was saying, look, it's on this website called Act Blue. Yeah. And it had, you just see 10 of these Democratic Democrat nominees listed, whereas Biden, Bernie, so forth. And apparently, the whole propaganda behind the video was saying that, look, this is what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to distract you with the BLM, or actually they're covering up their intentions by posing as BLM. And having you donate money and basically controlling the narrative and being responsible for everything. Well, essentially, Act Blue is really just a platform, like a third party site where people campaign and collect donations. And so it happens to be used by the Democratic Party and other different affiliated organizations. So that's why that list of donors, those were just happens to be like the biggest collections on that website, on that platform. It just happens to be all those Democrat nominees.
So they're donating.
They're not, the money going to BLM is going to BLM.
Okay.
It's not going to these Democratic. These are just people who also use the platform. So it's like if you were to use what's that donation, the change or whatever.
Oh yeah, change.org.
Change.org, and you have the money that you can donate. It's like that. Like if I was on change and you had your thing on change.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Oh. So they're using that platform and saying,
nigga, that scared the shit out of me.
It's too much shit going on up in this motherfucker.
Yeah, boy, it's shit dropping. I'm itchy, dog.
Yeah, right. So they're just using that platform to raise funds.
Facts.
Okay.
So that's what they're doing. So they're just doing that to raise funds.
So how do we explain all of the other
ones I can't explain. Now for everybody sending money, I can only advise you to research who you send your money to. Don't just be clicking on a link because you see it has thousands of likes and retweets. Really look into where your money is going to. Look into that organization or that cause that you are sending it to, because there is a lot of people who are putting things out there with everything that's going on that can easily be misrepresented and can easily be scammed. There's
facts.
So many scams out there. People with false donation websites, the whole nine. You just gotta watch out.
Scam is gonna scam, bro. Yeah,
this is
scammers
the
are gonna scam.
This is scammers' best opportunity, right? And so I know we kind of fell off. I know kind of backtrack. Good. We were on Juneteeth.
No, I mean I'm cool with that because I definitely didn't put it in our agenda, but that is a big thing that's going on now. Is people starting to question, hey, where's all the money going? Yeah. Right. And so I think that it's a worthy question, because it's just like taxes. You put all your money out there. You have to report, especially a 501c3. You have to mention where the money is going, and we have to see some sort of proof. So I think that is worthy. But yeah, to get back to what we were talking about with Juneteeth, for the people, I need Professor Funk, you know what I'm saying, for the people to, yeah. Could you educate the people who don't know a little bit about Juneteeth?
Juneteeth, otherwise known as Freedom Day here in America, for all our cousins out there on the other side of the world.
Word.
So for a lot of people who are familiar, Emancipation Proclamation, 1863, freed the slaves, right? But technically not all the slaves were free because the Civil War was still going on. And so by the end of the war in 1865, a group of the Unionists, the soldiers and generals, whomever, officials went down to the South, basically letting people know they were free. So the last group to find out was in Texas when they rode into Galveston, and they freed all the slaves out there. And that being 2 years after Emancipation Proclamation is known as Freedom Day for that reason. So
it's recognized in the sense of there's a name for it, but it's not like something that is
Never been recognized as a holiday.
right.
I guess a federal holiday.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
And now it's a company holiday. So hey, you get paid.
Yeah. Facts.
I think somebody said in the email it was like, consider this your reparations. No, I'm just kidding. No company. Company email said that, boy.
Dog, that whole company would be in the shitter.
That's some shit Chick-fil-A would send all their employees.
Chick-fil-A, it's so funny. Chick-fil-A is such a point of contention right now for, people to be like, oh, because I got the picture. Me and my girl, we stick to the whole like, hey man, try not to put money towards
in all their pockets. I stopped eating Chick-fil-A too.
Yeah. Your reason was a little different though.
Yeah, they forgot my chicken. That's all I needed.
They just gave your ass a filet. Yeah. They gave you filet, no chick.
Welcome to filet. What can I hold the chicken on today?
Motherfuckers gave you bread, lettuce, and tomato, bro. I'll never forget that shit.
But yeah, man. So that's interesting. All the companies doing that. So it doesn't mean shit to me. I will say this personally. You asked me. I'm popping fireworks on June 19th.
Yeah,
that's July 4th this year.
Hey, we're gonna
every year.
This is one of the things I love most about this movement going on right now is us pushing for stuff like this. Like there's real it's momentum. People are relentless. Like I feel like this time is like I think there's an actual sense of urgency. Like there's no time like the present mentality that's finally like
strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, man, and it's right before an election too. So it's a big opportunity to either, in my opinion, head into a new direction as a nation, right? And we'll talk a lot about what that could possibly mean, or go and reaffirm or double down where we're at. And I feel like that will be devastating to the country, to the morale in regards to like civil rights and all that. Because right now, I'm in the wind with this. Like part of me, of course, I believe in civil rights here, but part of me is also like exit strategy, like go back to Africa, like fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been begging us for so long, go back home. Like I'm gonna call the bluff, you know what I'm saying? Like because if we did, who knows how everything would shake out, right? So, but while we're here, we definitely need to be fighting because everybody deserves to have basic human rights for one, and two, if any group has earned rights in this country, it is black people in Black America. So I think that it's an exciting time in that if we could finally enact change going forward, and we'll talk a little bit about ways that we can get to that later. I'm excited about that. Unfortunately, some things don't change, and we had another on-camera killing of a black man by the hands of the police. I was gonna bring this up earlier, but I did get a little off track. Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta, Georgia. It's supposed to be where, that's America's Wakanda. It's supposed to be where
T.I. said, right?
Right? That's supposed to be where we safe at, right? He came on there saying, hey, y'all can't do this in Atlanta. Y'all can't do this in Atlanta. We can't do Atlanta. As much as Atlanta done for us, and look what Atlanta doing to us, right? And so if you watch the videos, and then later there was like the pre-videos, if you will, right? Where first, of course, the stuff that always drops is, the scuffle and the shooting, right? And then the video comes out beforehand that shows the police and the individual speaking to each other for a few minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in that conversation, clearly the guy's drunk, and that's why he fell asleep, right? He's intoxicated, and what do you do when you're intoxicated? You fall asleep, right? And he fell asleep at Wendy's, but there was already a discourse and an understanding by the police officers that, hey, this dude's drunk. So the next step, naturally, from their perspective, now people are asking and stating that there's so many ways you can go about this, right? And this is from the human perspective, which is like, hey, the man is drunk. He's asleep in his car, apparently in the drive-through, right? Because I think it was
in the drive-through.
Like he's in the drive-through, so it's creating.
And for any of us who's ever been out on a night, I don't know how many times I've seen people drunk fall asleep in the drive-through. It happens.
Yeah, it does. It happens. Okay.
I've seen it.
Yeah, right. So he causing traffic, whatever. Police come, boom, they get him out of the way. They're talking to him, and so we'll stop there, because first step is people are saying, hey, you knew the guy was drunk, why not offer him a way home or something, right? Because technically, it's not like you caught him out on the road. He was in a drive-through. He was close to parked, right? That is one topic you could talk about, but I understanding the police, I can understand why they would arrest him. Like, for what it's worth, like, that is their job, right? Because they could send him home, but he was driving there. They didn't catch him driving, but if you know the law, you know that they could just catch you sleeping in your car and still technically give you a DUI, so it's kind of fucked up. But there's that. And then when they go to, put his hands behind his back and to arrest him, he starts tripping out. So here, to me, is delineation number 2. 1 is pre, 2 is right here. This individual is clearly drunk. So whatever actions, like, you've already deemed they're drunk, they're drunk. So whatever actions that are happening at that point going forward is from an intoxicated individual. The reason why you're giving him or trying to take him to jail is because he is a hazard to the public when operating a motor vehicle, right? That's the idea. So it's, in my opinion, you can understand why somebody who's in that state of mind may act irrationally or erratically because he's fucking drunk, right? Okay, and it's multiple officers there.
Yes, 2 of them.
2 of them at the beginning, at least. I don't know if more appear.
Not until after the shooting.
Right. Okay. So there's 2 of them. I don't know if this individual had like mammoth strength, but I'm of the opinion that 2 grown-ass men who are trained police officers should be able to detain another individual.
They definitely got their asses handled.
They did.
Yeah, because he even pulled the taser out of the dude, out of his hand.
Oh, was it out of his hand?
Yeah, he just snatched it from his hand.
Well, if you're in that close proximity, and this is just my opinion, you're in that close proximity and it's 2 of y'all, why the fuck is y'all worried about tasing this man? I don't understand that. But that's neither here nor there. So the dude snatches the taser, shakes loose. Now he's on the move. And the only video I saw, you don't actually see the shooting. I don't know if there's another video out there, but I saw you saw them scuffling, and then it looks like the person's in a vehicle, and then he runs past them, and then you just before the camera can pan, you hear pow pow, and then you look, and then the guy's on the ground.
Yeah, because you see in the video where Rashad turns around with the taser in his hand. Mm-hmm. And points it. I believe he shoots it. I don't think it hits the officer, right?
Right.
Because then the officer, with the taser in one hand, I believe misses or might even hit him, and then proceeds to, after dude shoots the taser at him, mm-hmm. Then he pulls out his and then puts 3 in the back.
In his back, right? Because he's running away.
Yeah, he's running away. He's like maybe 10 feet in front of him. So it's like just a pa 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 pa.
Right.
It was like a quick da da da. Oh,
delineation. Yeah. Number 1, 2, 3 at this point, right? Dude is shot. Okay. Now here's what the argument's gonna be, right? It's you shot at a cop, you're gonna get shot. Like, you're a black man, you shot. It don't matter. Even you shoot a water gun at a cop, you're gonna get shot, right?
Everything's justified, right?
Everything's justified. But they are going to try to say it's because of he feared for his life, deadly force. Interesting, because when they use those same weapons, the idea is that it's not a deadly weapon, right? So how is it when you, as a trained individual, are using this weapon that it's not a deadly weapon?
They use it on each other in training.
Exactly. Part of the, I don't know if it's myth or what, but part of the initiation, if you will, of going through it is getting hit with the stun gun.
To know what it feels like.
To know what it feels like. because you're gonna hit somebody else with it. So he shoots it at you. He doesn't even hit you, but not only that, you have fucking, a vest on. You're strapped up. Police look like they're in the military nowadays, right?
Oh yeah, they got military grade.
Yeah. So what is your concern, right? So to me, the argument of he pointed his weapon at me and blah, blah, that's, to me, it's invalid, right? Yes. I'm not a lawyer yet. How they argue it, to me, doesn't make any sense. But that's right there. And then, like you said, the biggest key of it all, the dude, whatever he did, turned around and ran away. To me, that is the most heinous. That was like, what's his name? Walter Scott, right? The other gentleman you see on camera, it looked like fucking like a movie, like the worst scenes of a movie. A black man running away and being
wasn't even running
down.
Fast.
Right. He drunk.
That nigga's just zigzag running.
Trying to get out of there. He drunk. To be quite honest, you could probably hawk his ass down and tackle him, and he'd be down.
There's so many ways to.
These motherfuckers are lazy, and their first things is pull triggers, ask questions later, and they've been trained to do that shit. And I'm tired of seeing that shit personally, right? And so they shoot him dead, and he's fucking laying there. And then apparently, from what I read today, the officer kicks him on camera, like you can see it. Like looks down at him and like kicks the body. I don't even know if it's like a hard kick, but
like a
enough to like a fuck
alive?
You.
Oh, it's a fuck you kick
type of shit.
Like bitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whether or not that happened, I'm only going by articles I've read because I'm tired of watching those videos, bro. I can't see that shit anymore. I'm tired of seeing black men die. I'm sorry. So I'm just reading, and with all that coming to light now, Atlanta, or I guess the district attorney, they're charging this dude with 11 different counts, different crimes, murder, felony murder, right? Which in every state's different. Georgia has two basically levels of murder. And felony murder can be used if they can determine intent, which would be like, or like capital murder. In other places, or first degree, like you went into like premeditation, that's one qualification, or if it was in combination with any other felony, like a robbery, for example. If you kill somebody during a robbery, they can boom make it a felony. In this case, considering that they also charged him with other felonies of aggravated assault. I think it was assault with a deadly weapon. Another charge towards one of the women who were there because I guess he fired in her direction. And then like 7 counts of misconduct or going against his oath as a police officer. So they threw the proverbial book at him. Will he be convicted of any of it? We don't know yet. It's in Atlanta.
You would think in Atlanta, right?
It's in Atlanta. And one thing I didn't get to see is which cop it was that shot him. Because one of the cops didn't look black.
Neither of them were black. They were both white cops. And everything up until that point of the arrest, the interaction was calm.
It was typical cop shit where they're trying to like lead you with the questions and shit personally. But yeah, that's
the breathalyzer, all that shit.
Yeah.
But it goes to show you that even with that cop, he has a handful of misconduct complaints already on him.
Oh, really?
Right. So This guy has a track record.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's starting to kind of almost be a commonality between a lot of these officers who are in the center of these unarmed killings, the center of these investigations.
It tend not to be their first time.
It's not their first time. This is the first time it got caught on camera. This is the first time it got caught on camera. There's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
And things like this, and it's crazy, even in the midst of all of this happening and the protests, that is still occurring. Yeah. And you would think officers would be a little bit more cautious, but even regardless of the situation, they're not proceeding any lightly. They're still on the same bullshit, and because of this, now it makes all the reasoning and the purpose even more critical and more evident than ever of why we need police reform. Because even in the midst of us
Of all this shit going down.
literally people are protesting because cops are killing black people in the streets unarmed and in situations that could easily be de-escalated or handled in so many other ways, right? We watch that, and for people who've been drunk or been pulled over or have ever been in a situation like that, you know that thing could go many a different ways.
Facts.
As somebody who's been pulled over by the police, I know if a cop is pulling you over, that cop could have offered anything. That cop could have been like, you know what, don't worry. That's another thing the whole reform system could be doing, right? You got this drunk dude right here. Nice guy, harmful. This guy's talking about, I got to get home to my 3 kids. You looking up in the
Just
system.
had their birthday yesterday.
Just had a birthday yesterday. All this,
No
all these
record.
things. No records, no nothing. Right? You running his stuff. Nothing's coming back. He ain't wanting for nothing. You see, oh man, hey, you're drunk, man. Hey, you know what? We're gonna call you. We're gonna get you a ride. We're gonna drop you off. They could call this guy a ride. There's so many different things that they could do to avoid that, right? A drunk person is only harmful when he's behind the wheel to himself, but you get him to his house, let him get home, take care of him, right? You ain't got to throw him in prison. What he gonna do in jail? You just locking him up. He gonna sit there sober up. Now he's got to pay DUI fees, $5,000, this, all this shit, restitution.
All this other shit, yeah.
Next thing you know, he's dealing with this shit a year down the road, 2 years. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just another broken part of the system. It's like little minor things like this. Like, nobody was hurt. All you had to do was take this man home, man. How many fucking drunk people in this country every goddamn day all over the world? Fuck, you make liquor legal. Shit, you sell it by the boatloads. Goddamn Atlanta, you got your damn bars going till 3 o'clock in the morning. Fuck,
Facts.
till 5 o'clock in the morning you can go drink. So
Facts.
how it's all of that shit needs to be. You know, you go on for hours with this, right? But kind of going into, like we were saying, the change, the reform. You know, our
Go ahead. You gotta call him what
damn.
it is. It is his position.
yeah, President Trump. Boy, I hate calling that nigga President Trump. Boy. I swear to God.
You motherfucker. You motherfucker.
Hey,
45.
Hey, that dude that live off 1600 Pennsylvania in D.C., man. That guy in that big old White
That
House.
big orange motherfucker, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know that big old White House where there's thousands of people trying to burn it down right now outside. Them, those people, that place, right? So Trump, man, he's recently put out his police reform, and again,
just signed an executive order.
So this is a big deal, all right?
Yeah.
Especially in the light of his. So if you've been kind of keeping track, his tone towards the protests and everything has been pretty controversial in the way he's
Pretty
been
Trumpy.
pretty Trumpy, yeah, needless to say. So this reform, I feel like, is more so of a way to kind of save his ass.
Save face a little
Like,
bit.
even when you watched his speech on the reform, it was a completely different tone. It was more of an empathetic, but still, you know, it was more so he was walking on eggshells. It was still very supportive of the police. Like, he didn't want them to, he's all about still law and order. He reiterated that. Defunding the police. He still believes that's a little too radical. Instead, adding different measures that would be able to put in place to help achieve, I guess, better outcomes. Right. So this police reform, essentially, from my take, it's almost kind of like an incentivized program.
Sure.
So grant money for the departments will be available. Or grant money will be available to the departments that meet new national accreditation standards for the use of force, which includes the ban on chokeholds. But that's with the exception of when an officer believes their life is in danger.
Right.
So, you know how fickle that is.
Yeah.
Also, within the reform, a federal database to track problem officers. Also, more support for officers who deal with the homeless, the mentally ill, drug addicts, along with social workers to help officers navigate those encounters. But the thing is, it's still unclear what type of new accreditation system and how the federal database will work, and who's going to be as far as the as far as those accredited entities that are going to be in charge of that. So that's
who's monitoring this?
So
who's
that's
policing it? Who's the regulators? Who's policing the police?
right.
Goddamn.
So that's on the DOJ. Is responsible for basically determining who's going to be accredited, right? So you would have to work with those people. They would have to be accepted by the DOJ.
Go through a program.
Right. And so pretty much from what I took about it, it's like, so you guys make sure to finish your WebEx every week. And at the end of the month, you're going to have an audit at the police station.
Yeah.
Once we pass that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a nice little like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, grant money. Because granted, every police department runs, state, locally operated and ran.
Yeah.
But these grants are just, it's free money that the government gives. So it's not anything the government can control. They can't tell you to do any of this. They just advise you. This is like, hey, if you do this, we'll give you some money.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. That's why you would call it an incentivized program.
It's not really a reform in my eyes. It's
no,
a step.
It's a baby step, and
very baby step.
And to the extent that you consider how there were already reforms that President Obama had put into place for, granted they weren't extreme or anything, but he already had some things that he had in place through the DOJ that he had done, and as soon as Trump came in, part of his whole unwinding those years was some of that stuff too. So it really seems more like a net neutral.
He mentioned it too in his speech.
Saying what?
Oh, how this was something Obama and the administration could never accomplish.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know.
But
of course, in every speech he has to make it about bipartisan and always remind people.
Yeah. I'm better than Obama.
Yeah. Hey, all them niggas I was in there talking with me.
Yeah.
They was all the families of them black people that died. I'm cool. Say they fuck with me.
Hey, shout out to them. Shout out to the 6 families and Lee Merritt. I hate people saying people's name. Lee Merritt. I believe he's from Dallas. Yeah. Actually, going out there, speaking to Congress or to the senators, having their face-to-face, giving their opinions, their words to the president, and then not staying around for the photo shoot, not being used as a prop. That was, to me, probably one of the strongest stances you could take. Like, yeah, I'll come up, I'll give my opinion, my words, I'll let you know how I feel, and then I'm getting out of here. You're not finna just use me to say, oh, look what we're doing. We're standing with the people. Like, nah, bro. Not until we see real change. I know it's a little bit of a sidebar, but I really thought that was strong, because a lot of people gonna take the opportunity to stand there and be noticed by the country, if you will. But if it ain't beneficial, if it's not actually progressing the cause, then it's not worth doing. And so I thought that was really awesome.
Now the question is, will this be enough to get him reelected? Because according to the polls right now, it's not looking good.
They didn't look good last time either, though. So,
yeah. Which doesn't mean much in this country.
I want to. It's because the polls are skewed. People don't understand, and I'm not gonna go too much on a tangent. But people don't understand how polling works. It's not like they're actually asking all of Americans. They're asking like 1,000 people, 900 people, in some cases 300 people, and then when they say, oh, it's 60-40, it's like, all right, so it's 180 to 120 of these random 300 people that you fucking grabbed. It's not like
it's a survey.
It's a survey, yeah. But nonetheless, I think that something about this is just eerie similar to last time, to 2016, to where you just felt like all the momentum in the world was going to be behind putting Hillary in office. We all loved Obama. We wanted him to have a third term and blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is a no-brainer. Come on now. She was the Secretary of State. She lost to him. And so, it's woman time. They had it in the arena, breaking the glass ceiling and all of that shit. And then, bam, they got punched in the fucking mouth. I say they because I'm not part of the DNC, and they fucked that up. This time, a lot of momentum with Bernie, and that was the other aspect of it too, right? Was that you had Bernie who had a lot of organic momentum, and this is last time, and many people thought he would be he was the person to go with, that we needed to be a little more radical. Establishment said no. Same sort of thing, right? Except in this way, from the opposite perspective, we've had Trump for 4 years. We really won him out. We've been wanting him out for 4 years. We got fucking marches and shit. In some cases, riots, looting, all sorts of shit going on, right? Biden or Bernie's doing his thing, organic, boom, boom, and then out of fucking nowhere, Biden comes in, boom, boom, comes in the Carolinas, and the next thing you know, he just snatches the whole thing, right? And it's one of those things where you look at it, it's like you're asking questions like, what are you going to do for us? And it's like, I mean, you know, if you ain't voting for me, you ain't black, right? Not to go too far back, but there's so many similarities that I'm not willing to just say, oh, he's going to win. Those days are over where we think shit's a shoe-in. So, but Trump, I feel like there are a lot of people who may have voted with their wallets and like voted with that in mind, who may still have a conscience, who can't see themselves voting him in again. And so when you have these little half measures like this, I feel like the only way that he's going to get reelected is if there is a major he has to do something major. And then in the debates, I feel like, because we're in 2020, like we're fucking, this shit's supposed to be like 4 months away, and they haven't debated yet.
No, they haven't.
You know what I mean? Like technically Biden was officially the winner like this week, you know? So I think like when they go toe to toe, that's what's going to make a big determining factor as to whether, all right, who are we going to pick? Because you got people like me who unfortunately, like, I got to go with my mind. Like even though like I know that, you know, he got the past of all the criminal justice problems, and Biden is better than Trump. So I'm going to have to vote for him, right? I mean, I think it's a given. I think there's plenty of people who are still Bernie or bust, right?
Yeah,
and
it's bust.
It's a bust.
It's
yeah,
bust.
And we can't do that
Move
right
on.
now. Move the fuck on. Like
Let go.
I'm like one of the most principled people, but when you just look at how this works, if you write in his name or if you vote anybody other than Biden, like I can't tell somebody how to vote, but I will say that the vote is worthless. Like it loses its value if it's not for one of the two primary candidates, right? So, to answer that question, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna get him reelected or not. I think he'll have a lot to stand on between this, what he's done with Cory Booker, letting off a lot of people who were convicted of crimes that celebrities came in there and talked to him about. Basically, like, he's got things that he's going to be able to stand on, and not righteously, but for himself, he'll think it's good enough, and then enough of his base is definitely going to be like, oh, that's more than enough. You know what I'm saying? And it'll get enough of the fray people to say, all right, maybe it's fine. I don't feel like I sold my soul. This guy's done something for police reform and criminal justice reform and all that. He has taken these little micro doses, if you will, of, but I don't know. I think the other side of that is the bigger contributor to whether he gets elected, and that's going to be Biden, and it's going to be who the hell he chooses as his VP. I think that's going to be the biggest determining factor, because Biden old, senile, you know what I'm saying? We hope we don't wish nothing on nobody, but it is a possibility that whomever the VP is may become the P.
Man, that's what we thought about Trump shit.
Nah, I knew Trump wasn't. I think Trump is so
like a goddamn cockroach, you know?
Bro, I think Trump would be willing to have like a basement full of old bodies with organs and all sorts of shit. He ain't going nowhere, bro. But Biden, I feel like, depending on who he picks as his VP and how that ticket is set up, that's gonna be his big thing. And he said it's gonna be a woman.
Yeah,
And
it looks like a black woman.
a lot of shit's pointed towards black women.
Honestly, this is the best time for it. And it's interesting too because, you know, prior to everything happening, you know, there was talks of Kamala Harris being a possible running mate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now, in light of everything that's happening, it has increased her odds. Now Kamala Harris, so similar, you know how there's sports betting for people who are familiar. You know, there's odds that Vegas and everybody has, right?
Vegas will take your money for anything.
Take your money. I think the odds right now are like plus 150 or something for, I think it's like plus 150 or plus like 130
For Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris, and basically saying there's a 42% chance that from all the other possible candidates she'll be selected.
Which is huge because
It's huge.
42% is damn near 50%, which means that it's her versus everybody.
Right. And it makes sense in light of all this reform conversation that his running mate will have some type of tie and connection to
The
law.
yeah, right.
Right.
Absolutely. And it makes a lot of sense. Kamala Harris, for what it's worth, was a favorite going into the whole thing. You know, she's a prosecutor. I believe she was the AG of California as well, Attorney General. So she sat at the highest levels, at least from a state perspective, as law in the realm of law. And then from a national perspective, she's a sitting senator. So I mean, I think the thing about Kamala Harris that people don't like is they're gonna use that her record as a prosecutor against her, right? I think this is gonna be this is where fact versus fiction versus opinion and conspiracy is really gonna mean all the world of a difference. Because for Kamala Harris, if she took part in the imprisonment of many black and brown people,
They're gonna pull that card.
they're gonna
for
pull
sure.
that card, and it's gonna be hard to get people to vote for you when you got somebody who was a key part of the criminal justice system getting to where it is with Biden, and then you have Kamala Harris, who was a participant of it, but a participant that hasn't or that stood in a way that that was harmful to
Especially
black and brown
when you're
people.
looking at California,
Yeah.
who has like the highest number of prisons, the
Yeah.
highest incarceration rates.
Exactly.
So her track record already based alone on just the state numbers of how their prison system works, it's
Yeah.
already bad. And like you
Yeah.
said, Biden's criminal justice history in the past,
Yeah, the way he's voted.
it's not good.
And the thing is like that in particular is going to be one of the most popular, most trivialized perspectives in regards to, because the presidency has got so much more than just criminal justice. You got economics,
Yeah.
you got states or like
There's a whole
interstate
there's a whole
politics,
bunch of stuff.
all sorts of stuff, right? But I feel like that is going to be the big ticket item.
It is.
And because Trump is such a fucking troll, I feel like he may have his way with that, because he's going to say, look what I've done, right?
Yeah.
The bills I put forward, you guys are slow in the Senate, so I did it myself, executive order style, Trumpy baby, He's going to tout himself while also poking the bear at them.
He's playing chess,
He's playing chess.
which I commend him for. I commend him in a
Yeah.
political aspect. Like if
Yeah.
I'm looking at it in the house of cards sense. Like, oh, okay, touche. I see what you did there with that reform. Good shit.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, and so it's gonna be difficult. There are a couple other prominent black females. To get back to what was going on, the mayor of Atlanta. I forget her middle name. Keisha Bottoms.
Lance Bottoms.
Lance, there you go. Keisha Lance Bottoms. Apparently, she's come up in the race. I think that as the mayor of Atlanta, I think she's got a whole hell of a lot of experience with black people. If they could find a way to swing Georgia blue, it'd be amazing, right? With her there. You're talking about a state that almost made Stacey Adams their governor. I think she's fell off a little bit. I think she's herself is starting to endorse who she thinks is the right person to get in there, because you're gonna need somebody who's got a strong political background. I also think that this is part of why this police officer. This is part of why the police officer is having big like all these charges put against him, because she's got all the pressure in the world, and the city's got all the pressure of the world to say, hey, like, yo, like, for real, like, in Atlanta, this shit, with all this shit going down, is happening in Atlanta. And so she's coming out and doing her thing. And so we'll see if she's a viable candidate. I mean, obviously she's got her own political background, but I don't know enough about her to say yay or nay. And then there was another candidate who
Val
Demings. And in my little bit of research about her, I actually really like this candidate, right? I like her because she checks a lot of boxes, okay? And I think that white people gonna vote for her. Here's why. She is a state rep out of the state of Florida. Very important state, swing state, okay? She's a former chief of police. Her husband is also a former chief of police, who is now the mayor of Orange County, Florida, which is a city, oddly enough. And so you've got two black people who have served within the police force at the highest level, right? So their relationship with their clout, if you will, when it comes to police reform, they'll be unmatched. Nobody's going to be able to tell them what is right or wrong about police reform within the Senate. It's like, what do you know that I don't know? I've been chief of police, right? Versus, and most importantly, there's not really that much to go against them in regards to like nothing that's out yet. She's come out and spoke against the shooting in Atlanta and said deadly force wasn't necessary. She's come out and spoke against a lot of different things that's going on right now. And so I think that she would be a great, possibly a great partner with Biden, because you need somebody who's going to take a lot of that edge off, that says, okay, now you're talking about political or police reform, but you were a part of the problem. You can't really put her in that bubble just yet, right? And so I think she would be a good pick. She's a strong black woman with a black family, and not to make it super racial, but Kamala Harris, when she go up there, she gonna be the only, when they had that family photo, president, VP, she gonna be the only black person up there. Her husband a rich white man.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
What?
Bro, I swear I never knew that. I don't know why I didn't know that.
Kamala Harris' husband's a rich white man. Good for you. I ain't no racist.
I've always had my questions about Kamala Harris. Not the fact that she got a rich white man as a husband, but the fact that she's a prosecutor from California. That's already red flags. I don't trust you, lady.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
So, so we'll see. I mean, I just think Biden needs to make a decision, needs to figure it out. I could see Kamala Harris, if she doesn't get it, I could see her being appointed as Attorney General. If I was her, I would do that shit. Like, all right, this is your chance to make amends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be the VP. Maybe you can run for president later or whatever later, but I would put her at the Attorney General spot. I think that would make the most sense personally. And it's because she's a prosecutor, and that's what she's good at. Now you can make sure from the federal perspective you're getting all these police prosecuted. To go back to something we didn't state earlier with like all the hangings. Did you know lynching technically isn't a federal crime?
Oh, yes, I did know that.
Right. So, there are plenty of agendas that we could be pushing from the legal perspective that as the Attorney General, you could be, behind. Or who knows? We're going to need some Supreme Court justices. And he's been talking about putting black women up there. And
that's what they need.
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or however you say her name, RBG. She
Oh yeah.
she been
You say her name. I was
she
just reading her name too.
you know, I'm good for fucking up people's names. I've been had my name fucked up my whole life, so fuck everybody. All right.
Straight up.
No, you know, but she been ready to give up that seat, and so, you know, they'll probably replace her with a black woman, as well as hopefully some older conservative that's ready to get off the.
Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Who the fuck is that?
Is that the one you're talking about? Congresswoman?
Hell no, not
Who-
Congresswoman, Supreme Court.
Oh, Supreme Court.
It's Ruth something Ginsburg or something. You know, RBG, the old lady that should be you know, say the OG. She the triple OG. She,
That lady, yeah.
She said some dope shit. She's come out, her dissents and her
Bader Ginsburg.
Batter.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's her name.
Okay, I made up some shit. Okay, I
It's
knew
close.
it was a B.
I know.
Goddamn. Ginsburg and Ruth was right. Hell,
Language is that shit.
Ginsburg. I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah. So I think Kamala Harris, for all intents and purposes, because we have other people who could fit these roles, I think that personally she would be better fit doing something from the legal perspective, whether it's attorney general or Supreme Court, something like that. That's where I would put her, so that and it's good because, especially if Supreme Court, because she could be there for ever, right? That's the idea, right? Until you fuck up, basically. It's like the Pope, like you're there, man, you're there until you die. So that would be dope. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna get it, and the real question, I feel like, no matter who's in there, is shit gonna change? Is shit gonna change?
At the end of the day, that's the question.
Yeah, facts.
So
What do you think?
we'll see. I don't know. I don't trust anything will change.
Shit, I mean, if that's the case, what are we doing?
I do think things will. For instance, like the reform, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. It was just like a breadcrumb. It was really nothing. But I guess it's a start. Is if you're trying to look in a positive sense, right? But again, it starts. Everything is really going to be. Everything really going to come down to your local government. At the end of the day, for real change.
Yeah.
Right. For the real reform is going to come locally.
Yeah.
So I think cities who are applying a lot of pressure, I think we're seeing change.
Whoever can get motherfuckers out of the house to vote. Whoever can get people in the cities to vote, we're going to have to really, like, the activation, and I talked about this last time about accountability, the activation of people in the cities being active, knowing who their sheriffs are, who their councilmen are, who their mayor is, their commissioner. Because, and I think you had a dope story post. I've been finding all sorts of stuff, and I'm just trying to regurgitate as much information out there as I can.
Yes, the Initiative Dallas, for people who are out here in Dallas.
Yeah, right.
On Instagram, Initiative Dallas.
Initiative Dallas. Make sure you guys go out there and vote, by the way, because now they're having a runoff here in Dallas for who's going to be the Democratic nominee to go up against one of the Republican senators to maybe get a blue seat for Texas in the Senate. Why not? Royce West is out there, and I don't know the other lady's name. She's
I don't.
she's probably not going to get my vote. That's why I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Royce, I know Royce West.
I know Royce West. I remember. I know his name for a long. I said, "Oh, okay," but
brother.
brother.
So I remember that name in the poll.
But yeah. So there's a lot of education out there. Most especially though is what are the roles and responsibilities of people who are in these positions and why it's important to vote for them. Your sheriffs and your mayor who picks your police chief a lot of times, or maybe you pick the police chief. So it's either these people who you elect are choosing these other people in great positions, or you're voting for all of them depending on where you live. Either way, it's important that you get out there and you fucking vote, man, and you just and just do a little bit of digging. At least see a picture, like know who you're voting for.
It's very crucial, and for, like you were saying, know who you're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
Read their policies. Read their plans.
Facts.
Don't assume because they're a Republican or a Democrat that they hold the same values or ideals that you might. Don't think that.
Right.
Everybody
right.
has a hidden
You'd be
agenda.
so surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be so
So
surprised.
surprised. You go back and you read their actual platform, and you'll find out that you guys actually don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You just voted for them.
Yeah,
So best to go do some research, right?
Facts.
Then you're more aware. Now you know what you would expect. So don't be shocked when you vote for that person and they ain't did what you was hoping they was gonna do because they's a Democrat. Nah,
bro.
They was never for it. So
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, facts. So we're big on that. Villagers big on getting our fellow villagers out there and voting. You know what I'm saying? Vote for sure.
But man, I guess in
lighter
pop culture, in pop culture news.
pop culture news here. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Boy, Jermaine Cole.
It's funny why y'all keep saying it's my boy.
That's my boy too. I fuck with J. Cole.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Zach said that in the little message. Oh, hey man, you see your man's Cole? Because me and him used to go back and forth about Cole and if he's good or not. I'm like, of course he's good.
He has no room to speak. Virgil, that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah.
Even though I got the man's shoes too, I ain't tripping, but whatever.
Yeah, right. So J. Cole just dropped a single, "Snow on the Bluff," which is a play on the title of a different movie, right?
Yeah, it was a movie. It was similar. It's like a Black Hood version of Buffy the Vampire almost.
Okay.
A day in Atlanta, some nigga in the hood.
Yeah, facts.
That sold drugs. That's Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff. All right. And so the synopsis or what's going on in the song really is Cole is reflecting on, in my opinion, a personal experience, or not, if not personal, a general experience that individuals have online, right? Those who may consider themselves not as woke, right? And so he goes on to speak or rap about man, it's so tough because it's like there's so many people picking this shit apart. Basically, he goes on there to talk about this idea of first himself not necessarily being as smart and as enlightened as people may think he is, and then going online to see what we're assuming is a young black woman who is and I feel like, me personally, I feel like this is actually more of a metaphor. I don't think it's literally one person. People are trying to point it as one person, but it's the idea that the woke black woman is is going on there and is so her energy is so I don't want to say enraged, but it's to the point where it's degrading the people on there who aren't on the same level as her, including who he includes himself as, and says, that perspective is not really helpful to the cause. When you're on there demeaning and belittling your own people, essentially you are just pandering to a crowd that's already woke and already has the information that you have, and you are not really doing much better you're not really doing shit to help the cause. The opposite side of that is people who are looking at it and saying, wow, in this time where we're looking at all this as far as empowerment and, this all the Twitter shit about black women versus black men and blah, 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 blah. From that perspective, it is, hey, why are you sitting here trying to police her tone? And in another common perspective I'm seeing is from black women themselves saying, why do we have to always try to educate and why is it our task to bring you up to speed? Yeah. Especially because the idea or the theory out there is that this was about No Name, and then the irony about him saying, hey, teach us, and she has her own book club, which is like, my nigga, read a book, so there's all those things that are floating around. And the reason why, it's not to be too long-winded here, but the reason why it's being pointed at her is because she put out a tweet, and in her tweet, I'm paraphrasing, basically said, celebrities, rappers out there who rap about this content, about being so pro-black, but we don't see you at least even putting up a tweet right? Then Academics takes that tweet, screenshots it, adds a picture of Cole and Kendrick, and posts it on his platform saying, hey, No Name taking shots at Cole and Kendrick about how they're not involved in anything. Which is interesting to me because Cole may not have been doing any tweeting, but that man was actually out.
Yeah, he was protesting.
He was out protesting. So I don't know how you could be going at him, which then in turn brings back the question as to why would he be going back at her when he himself is out on the front lines, like talking to people on the ground. So unpopular opinion, Benny coming in to say, I don't actually believe that he wrote that record looking at it, like targeting her specifically. I don't actually believe that. I believe that it fits because she's going out there and saying what she's saying, but a lot of people were saying that was probably towards Kendrick anyway, and blah 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 blah. But the bigger, I guess, byproduct of all that is now you have this greater schism again between people on one side or the other, black people splitting up on this conversation of, whether Cole and what he had to say was appropriate in the time. The irony, in my opinion, is people are saying that he's trying to police people, and yet those people are still policing him and how he can.
It's the fucking cancel culture, bro. Everybody always.
I'm not with that shit.
Every time somebody got an opinion, everybody want to crucify them for their thoughts and their words, and which I understand depending on what you're saying, but I think, like
to an extent,
it gets like, even if it is towards her, even when I go back and I listen to the song, I look at the lyrics. Mm-hmm. With everything you're telling me about the situation, because I'm not too familiar with whatever has been happening as far as what she's been saying. And
yeah,
I've
it was just one tweet. It was
yeah.
just one tweet, and I feel like people on the internet like to run with shit
all the time. And granted, even in the song, he states how he wasn't fond of this queen's tone and rhetoric almost, and. Mm-hmm. Instead of coming at these individuals, why don't you just educate them, right?
Yeah.
You're a very intelligent individual, and you can do
big upping this hypothetical individual.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo,
that's why I'm taking it.
Yeah, he's like, yo, this woman is smarter than me.
Yeah. She
probably comes from a background that has enlightened her. Yeah. And with all of that power that she has as an individual, it would be better suited bringing people up who may be ignorant, who may be asleep or whatever the case may be, but that's your role as the awakened person, to wake others up, not to just shit on them and pander towards the people who are just as awake as you. To me, that's what I understood that, and
I get it.
Yeah, and I think, like, not only that, he's also stating the case of the fact that, like, what the fuck is some retweets gonna do? Like, what are people like me going on there and tweeting? That's not gonna do shit. That's not gonna change shit. He's actually makes more of an impact on the ground at a protest, with pictures being taken of him showing that he's a part of this on the ground than Twitter fingers.
Facts.
And that's just me.
Honestly, it's just the time period we're in right now. Everybody's in defense mode.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's
just looking for a reason to just either attack or be defensive about something that somebody's saying, even if it doesn't pertain to them. And granted, I think it's funny. Fuck it, man. J. Cole came with the bars, man. Y'all,
I think he barred that song down, bro.
I know there's gonna be a lot of y'all out there who might not agree, who feel like he shouldn't have said what he said. But hey, man, that man said he stand behind what he says.
Oh, did he? He came back, though?
Yeah, he tweeted, said, I stand behind what my words were. So that being that, man, he just gonna have to accept it. It's a rapper.
Facts. Like, what the fuck? How are you gonna tell? How are you gonna get behind this idea that we're gonna tell a rapper how to? Like, this is my whole problem with cancel culture. Like, it's the irony behind it is that the whole thing is against free speech. If you think about it, like, for me, bro, I'm not somebody who, unless you are attacking me as an individual, right? If somebody has a rhetoric out there that they're putting out there like everybody has the right to say however they feel, right? Like that's just, you may agree with it, you may disagree with it, you may go back and forth about it, right? Like all of that's fair game. But I think it's an extremely slippery slope when you start to try to police. The irony, they're saying he's trying to police people while they're policing him, and and they're losing the entire message of what he's trying to say, which is technically, this doesn't necessarily apply to black women. And I feel like that's the irony. People are mad that he said it about a black woman. He could have easily wrote the song from the context of a black man, but it wouldn't have hit as hard, first of all. And second, the black woman is the strongest, wokest, entity like that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like they're responsible for so much. And nobody's taking that away from black women. At least I'm not trying to.
I guess black women are seeing this as an attack, that they're being harassed, almost masking, like from the words of Chance the Rapper, yet another L for men masking patriarchy and gaslighting as constructive criticism. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on this nonsense.
I just, I am all about like the empowerment of women to go out and do whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
it's
also
just the time is
it's
what
the
they're
time.
upset.
But still,
people are
bro,
upset. It's like, why are you coming for this black woman in a time like this?
But
because
he
of
don't.
what she said.
It's the theoretical person. It's not even who.
Yeah.
He didn't name her by name.
I feel like it was just in general I feel like it was just open.
I mean, there is merit to what he's saying. Like what good? I get tired personally. I get tired of on my Twitter feed and I'm seeing people just shading other people.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like, and maybe it's the entitlement, it's the perspective of not needing to say much, right? Because you're men, right? Because the patriarchy exists, right? So then you're fighting the patriarchy. So then in fighting the patriarchy, you have to put out a lot of opinion, a lot of force behind those opinions. So in doing so, you may be attacking and suppressing someone who could very well be your ally. And I think that was the point. Is not to say, don't put people in their place. Sure, put people in their place. But if you're looking for people to, to be an ally, then you got to bring those people into the fold. And I'm done. I'm not gonna say no more about that shit.
Well, we'll go ahead and pivot to the next the last topic here with my man
Chappelle Show.
It's like Cole said, who the hell care what a rapper got to say at this time? Don't nobody give a damn what Ja Rule think at this time.
Where's Ja?
Where's Ja Rule?
You know what I'm saying? My man Dave Chappelle came out with another classic. This time super brief and not super comedic. I mean, comedic to the extent that it's real. It made you look at things a certain way, and he found ways to make you laugh. But damn, I love Dave Chappelle, man, because and if we don't know what I'm talking about, the feature is called 846 and 8:46, which is the time spent, the time that George Floyd was laying on his stomach with while a police officer had his a knee on his neck, and murdered him in broad daylight on camera, right? Which is what sparked all this stuff. And amongst so many great facts so many great perspectives, let me not say facts, opinions that Dave Chappelle made, he spoke about the idea of celebrity, and he spoke about how people are being called out, celebrities are being called out, and he was named. Not by no name, ironically, but he was named as where are these people at now? And he's like, one of the questions I love, because I've followed Dave Chappelle since I was a kid, is, have you been watching my specials lately? Like, have you been watching my specials at all? Because he's spoken about this stuff
so many times,
his entire career,
all the time.
You know what I mean? Like, his entire career has been about this. to where you get to the point now where his perspective is, and I thought it was just so dope. He's like, the way he used the metaphor of driving, he said, right now, the streets are talking. The youth is behind the wheel, and I feel very comfortable in the back seat. He's like, we are finally at a point where the people are rising. The people. The opinion of a celebrity has never done anybody any fucking good. Right? So he came out to say, I've been sitting back. I've been witnessing all this growth. Why would I come in there and, why would I come out here and tweet and make things about me and my perspective, essentially? And I just found that to be extremely on point and extremely on brand with the times, because, and ironically, versus what happened a few days later with this, it to me, it's the bigger point. Like, all right, so we are expecting something of people who are just regular people who have a lot of money and have our attention, which I can understand the attention perspective. But at the same time, everybody who's paying attention to them is their own person who can make their own decisions, right? And there's no reason. I think it's more impactful rather than having one celebrity say, hey, let's do this. You got a city full of fucking people marching, right? And these are everyday people out here doing their thing. And I feel like that, to tie it in with what we were just talking about, is that's the point. Is that this shit don't work with elitist mentality. This shit don't work with expecting a few people to do something and the majority of the people to sit still. Nah, this shit takes action. This shit takes movement, and it takes everybody to do their part, right? And so I felt really, really satisfied with that 27 minutes of content that he provided us, which was a lot of just energy and understanding and perspective on what's going on, not only from the criminal justice perspective, but just from the societal perspective. And so if anybody hasn't had opportunity, I would say to go watch it.
It's definitely a must watch. You could take a lot from it. He makes a lot of good, valid points in bringing different things up, which I think is, like you said, man, sometimes as celebrities, the spotlight doesn't always need to be on you. We don't need a celebrity to come out here and tell us shit we already know.
Yeah.
What the hell he gonna tell us that we don't know?
Especially a celebrity who's been saying it.
It ain't nothing new to them. These celebrities, a lot of these people, it's funny because, a lot of things, even like rest in peace, Tupac, his birthday was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a big Tupac fan, and just kind of going back and re-listening to Tupac music, you start, especially because it's very relative to the time right now. Mm-hmm. And it's always been, that's one thing about his music. It's, even when he's talking about police brutality, poverty, mm-hmm. all these different type of situations, right? Mm-hmm. All of it still rings true.
Today.
25, 30 years later.
To this day.
It's still.
To this day.
It ain't shit changed. So it goes to, it shows you like these people, they've been talking about it. Chappelle, you can go back to his early stand-ups. He's been talking about how fucked up shit is. All these people been talking about this. Ain't nothing new. Right. So just to kind of piggyback off that, man, we don't give a damn what you celebrities got to say right now. You know what I'm saying?
We shouldn't.
I don't really care. Like, I'm not over here looking through my feed to see what
where's Ja
Rule got to say about some shit. I don't really care, man. Yeah,
the best thing they could do is just
the streets, man.
Yeah, get in the streets or use their leverage and do some other shit, whether it's money or some backdoor deal. Like, doing shit is the goal. Right. Fuck the saying
like
shit.
Kanye, he did that shit in the back. Even though we niggas been hating on Kanye, I've been trying to tell y'all.
Kanye, my nigga, I don't care what nobody say. He dropped 2 M's out back, making sure that George Floyd's daughter is gonna go to school, sending money to bail people out, Black Lives Matter, all sorts of stuff, man. And thank you, Kanye.
People thought Kanye was lost.
Nah, bro, Kanye been away, wide awake.
I've been trying to tell people. I said, no. Kanye, not crazy. I said, you just don't understand Kanye.
That's it.
I said, you just don't understand.
And I think that, just to wrap this up, I think that is if there's a theme that I feel like people need to run with within the circle, within the community, within allyship, is try to understand, right? Like everybody's so
Quick to cancel.
quick to say I'm better, quick to throw their red flags. Hey, fuck you, you shouldn't have said that, or blah 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 blah. And it's like, that ain't no good. It ain't gonna get nothing accomplished. It really ain't. All you're gonna do is silence your dissenters. Just like there's the best thing that happened with Trump coming into office is that all this shit's coming to light. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the one thing I said. Like, all the racist, all the Confederate, like all this shit that all these people have been thinking and doing behind closed doors. Now they felt emboldened to do it in person, or to do it out front. And that's what we have to like understand and leverage. And I just feel like as long as you are silencing people, then you're going to get the opposite of that. You're going to get what people have been doing for the last 50, 80, 60, 70 years, which is still having these opinions, but just keeping it to themselves, and then being manipulative in how they, go about exacting that, whatever their thoughts are. Whereas in reality, if you would have listened and then you tried to understand, you can also go against it and move forward. And so.
Shit. Oh, damn. That's my cue, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I hope you, I enjoyed this episode. I feel like we made some, pointed out some good, important things. Again, happy Juneteenth to everybody.
Happy Juneteenth for sure.
Celebrate it.
Hopefully you got the day off. If not, don't do shit.
Yeah, hopefully you get PTO on this damn day. If not, you need to reevaluate your work app.
I'm about to put that shit in our. I'm about to hit the company. I'm about to reply to the CEO's email. So Juneteeth? Question mark.
Yeah, I've been noticing in the news lately that this has become a federal holiday in a lot of cases in a lot of different places. I just wanted to verify if this was the case here today. No nigger show up. 9 o'clock.
You handle money, and money doesn't sleep.
Money doesn't sleep.
Money is green. It's not black or white.
I'll take my cut then.
My bad.
Alrighty, guys.
The Villagers.
Thanks for watching The Villagers here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay connected to The Village. And check the description below, which will have the links to our full-length podcast.
And if you like what you see, make sure to hit that like button. And if you don't like what you see, make sure to hit that like button. And we always want to hear from you guys. So if there's anything you want to fuss, cuss, discuss, let us know in the comments below. But till then, peace.